Hey guys, Never Stop Dodging here today, and we are going to be taking a look at the units I think are the top 10 units in the game with a few honorable mentions. I'll probably do the 11 to 15 spots worth of honorable mentions here because I think there are a couple of units here who I personally would say are kind of up there, close to being in the top 10. So I think first unit I'm going to put into here is Electrics. Now this 11 to 15 area, I don't actually really know where to put them. I'm just going to put the 5 units I think can potentially be put into top 10. You can argue that they're the 10th position spot. So first one I'm going to put is the Legends Limited Future Super Saiyan Trunks. Now this dude is pretty darn good. He does nicely, he does nice strike damage. His green card giving him an ultimate is pretty fantastic. His ultimate, when you get it off, restores vanish, so you essentially get 2 ultimates where you can restore vanish and does a ton of damage as well. That's pretty nuts. The green card in general is pretty good as well, giving you ki and just more damage. Like, he does quite a lot that you want. He goes type neutral on main and everything, so he is a really good unit. Counters the androids pretty well, which honestly it's not a huge thing to counter the androids nowadays, but he is very nice. I just think the fact that he's green at the moment, considering we just got a new purple ultra who's just everywhere, and he is a Super Saiyan as well, and we just got the final form cooler who just decimates Super Saiyans. I feel like he's not quite in my top 10 just yet, but very close in my opinion. You can argue him being 10, maybe even 9th, depending on how a few people think, but I think he is definitely close to being one of the best units in the game. Next, I'm gonna say, honestly, I was playing with Hakai Beerus, like, I think, was it yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before, and he was doing well. This is a pretty nice meta for him, a very dominant red unit that you could just lock in and just annihilate. Some other units, like, you see revivals quite a lot, like you see this revival freezer quite a lot because LOE is quite a prominent team. Power Opponent is a quite prominent team in the meta at the moment, and to have him just shut down revival units, lock in, decimate units, like, it is very good for him. And of course, him just not worrying about cover changes makes him a pretty good unit against the new ultra we have just gotten, because him not worrying about the cover changes doesn't have to worry about that ultra super powerful cover change ability. Like, it is one of the best cover changes in the game, and this guy just annihilates, and he does fantastic strike damage. Like, if you just get a bunch of strikes going over and over, he can get 2 times card draw speed going as well. Like, you are just going to be doing damage. So this guy is very good in my opinion, a very good meta for him to kind of strive in. Next is actually the unit I've said he kind of counters, is this revival freezer. Still, even with people using Beerus, even though Beerus isn't really seen too much, so this guy still is a fantastic option. What can't this guy do for you? He has revival, which means he controls rushes. He has a main ability that gives him a green. The blast card is fantastic. Him paired up with the final form cooler is actually fantastic because they just have crazy synergy together. Like, him drawing a green, but let's say you don't use the green with him, but you've reduced the sub count so that you can go back into cooler, give him the green, necessarily allowing him to have another strike which is going to do more damage, and he's got a whole hand of strikes. He's just going to be doing damage over and over. Like, he is a very good, like, kind of pseudo support type, because he offers great support for his team and he does fantastic damage. And then when he goes through his revival stage into his transform state, he reduces the ki. He can reduce Dragon Balls. His blue card hits hard, reduces your enemy's hand to like 2 cards in it, depending on how many they have. Like, a very good unit. Still one of the best non-LF, non-Ultra, non-Zenkai units in the game, so I would definitely say he is an honorable mention. Next, my boy Tapion, the best support unit in the game. Like, it's undeniable that this dude just allows anyone on the team to strive. Like, you swap him from him to final form cooler, even if you have him on a team with any of these, like, they're gonna be doing well because he allows them to get another hand. He allows them to do more damage. Like, he is fantastic. He does great strike damage himself. His green card is annoying because it allows him to go through anyone, because it allows him to nullify cover changes, which is great against the new Ultra because he has type advantage of it, so that if they do try to do that insane cover change, he just doesn't worry about it, strikes through them, and it is a lot of damage you are putting into the very powerful unit. So this guy is fantastic. And then his final counter, just to top it off, make it so that if your enemy has a purple unit, let's say they've just swapped into their purple units, they can't swap into the other 2 units on the team for like 9 timer counts minimum. Like, they can't rush. It's impossible. Like, if they rush, they're taking a massive amount of damage, and their whole team is just going to be taking so much damage. It is ridiculous. So this guy is just fantastic in my opinion. Like, he is ridiculously good, so I'm gonna say him there. Next, honestly, who would I put next? I'm kind of tempted to put Jiren. I was somewhat tempted to put Bardock, and I'm somewhat tempted to put Dragonfist. I think Dragonfist is really the one to be in the honorable mentions yet, because I don't think he's top 15, because this meta with the new Ultra is not good for him. He kind of, after his boost, did not have a good position for him. I feel like in the future he'll have his time, so I wouldn't say him. And I'm gonna put actually Jiren in here. I feel like Jiren has actually stemmed quite a bit from when he got his unique platinum. The unique platinum has saved him quite a bit, and then of course with this meta being like purple units reign supreme, him with any powerful opponent like on a purple red purple, like, you are just destroying teams. Like, his damage is going to be off the charts paired with, let's say you pair him with Final Form Cooler and the Ultra Broly. Like, he is going to be doing well with it. He has endurance if they rush, so you're controlling that. You have like insane cover changes, strike cover changes. He cover changes strike as well. He does very nice blast damage. He does decent strike damage. His green card is an area green card, which is annoying. He can then inflict feint. Imagine getting feint with this dude, and then you have Cooler and Broly on the bench to swap to. Like, that is terrifying. If this dude, wow, yeah, he's definitely an honorable mention at the moment, because he is ridiculously good on some of the setups you can have now. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted. Should I put Mecha Frieza in here? I might just put Mecha Frieza as this the random unit I just added to here. I think he is really good as well in this meta with purples running supreme once again. I kind of feel like adding I would add, but I'm gonna add him as well. These two are kind of the same in terms of what they offer. Like, this 2D offers blue crazy support, immobilizes your opponent so that you can swap into your units, because it makes it so that your units can come in faster because it reduces sub count. His blue card is nice. He offers, of course, another blue card for your team, so you can get 2 off. You get key from it. He gives a lot of damage with his ultimate. His ultimate is actually ridiculous. If you watch how much ultimate damage this guy does on anyone, you'd actually be very surprised. And then of course this guy, his lock-in ability is stupid, because with Cooler running rampant around, he locks them in. Then you go into him, he locks them in with their strikes. You just have a bombardment of damage. So yeah, I think these are like definitely worthy of being honorable mentions. I went a bit over what I said I wanted to do, but they are definitely worth it. I'm not adding any honorable mentions. So if there was any unit you think should have been an honorable mention who doesn't make it into the top 10 as well, and you think they should have been here, let me know and I'll give you my opinion about that. But now onto the top 10. In the 10th spot, I am actually gonna put perfect Sao. Like, I think Sao is very good in this meta. Of course, him being strike based, having a purple red setup with these two is ridiculous. His gorge, you actually get his gorge filled up pretty quickly nowadays, because a lot of people just play very passive. Like, you know your enemies are terrified, especially with the team you got. Like, if you catch them off guard with like an attack or something, they are done for, like a quick attack or stuff. So you have time to charge it, especially if you have the last lot on his unique platinum as a red like I do. He's at 45% already. You have to do 65% more. It's not that hard to get. And of course, he has cardio speed. His strike damage is fantastic. Even his blast damage is fantastic. His green card restoring his vanish and filling up some of the gorge is fantastic. The blue card doing insane damage. He has a blast cover change. He, once his gorge is filled, is insane. He has an ultimate that just annihilates people. Like, in this meta, I feel like purples are some of the strongest units to have at the moment. It's just absolutely ridiculous what they are, because there's not really, I'd say, some of the most powerful greens. Like, let's take a look at LF Future Trunks. You got the Zenkai LF, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Dragon Fist Goku, Golden Angel Frieza. Like, I don't think any of these units can handle this guy. If this guy gets like a combo going, he can take them out, which is actually insane. We need a very, very powerful green unit soon. Legends Festival needs to give us the most. I want them to be top 2. There has to be a green ultra or LF that makes it top 2. Even after boost, you consider them a top 5. That's how powerful they need to be. They can't be like Dragon Fist and just get completely wiped out of the game by very powerful purple units and that. But Sal is insane in my opinion, and I am 100% glad that I put him in my top 10. Next, I'm actually going to put the Zenkai Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I think he still has a ton of value. Like, his strike damage is insane. His blast damage is actually very good considering his heavily strike based. His green card is very good because it heals. It makes it so that you get a strike, and of course his strike is just insane. The blue card is very good because he's just gonna do a lot of damage on most units it hits. I think against purple he doesn't do too well, which makes sense, but he can still do very well. Like, I think not against like these top contenders for like the best purple units in the game, but there are purple units out there that he does well against, even though he is type disadvantaged against them. And of course, the lock-in with his ultimate is the most insane thing. Blue units just fear for their lives when it's been more than 25 timer counts and he's got an attack on them and he can use his main. Like, it's just game over for them. They don't survive unless they have endurance or something, which only this guy is the one with revival out of all the blues in this list. Like, he's just gonna tear him apart pretty much. So yeah, he is definitely worthy of being in the 9th position. Next, I'm actually gonna go Majin Vegeta. Now, Majin Vegeta is actually a really good counter to Final Form Cooler at the moment, because number one, he transforms into Super Saiyan 2, which means there is a lot of damage output coming from him onto Final Form Cooler. And Final Form Cooler is not gonna, even that type neutral damage, tear through this guy. Like, he is a fantastic counter to him. The strike damage from him is through the roof. I think he has some of the highest like strike. Once he's transformed, his strike damage is insane. And of course, the main thing you want to do is just transform as soon as possible, because once you've transformed, you are just in your prime position. You heal upon transforming. You're gonna do way more damage. Your strike damage is insane. The blast damage is actually really good. The green card, that area green card that gives you a strike card, I think it's just a strike. It might be he draws another card, I'm not too sure. I need to read up on that again. But his green card is very good, catches a lot of people off guard, and then you just pummel into them. Then the main ability makes it so that he doesn't have to worry about cover changes. He gets a blue, and that blue annihilates. The blue card before the main ability is very, very good. And then after the main ability, it's just like, okay, how many times do you want this blue card to just annihilate all these units in the game? Like, I have mine like close to 7-star, maybe 8-star or something, and he still almost one-shots most units with his blue. It is insane. So I think he is definitely worthy of being, he is a very good blue unit in this meta at the moment, and he is definitely in my 8th position. Next, I'm actually gonna go Revhan. Revhan, with the power movies has gotten lately, has risen very, very well. Like, with Tapion, he is insane. I feel like with all these movies units. You could have Ultra Super Gojia, you could have Final Form Cooler, you could have Broly, you can have Dragon Fist Goku as well, you have Tapion, and then you have a bench unit that supplies health or strike or Zenkai buffs. Like you have Goku, you have the Zenkai transforming Super Saiyan Broly, or you have, I don't know, it's someone else just to fill the spot. Like he does well today. I'd say these three can all be rearranged, but I think he's in a very good position at the moment. Revival is very good, makes it so that for your movies team you can just have that dependent unit who could tank very powerful hits, even survive sometimes. Like if you have this guy 9 stars or higher, actually I should suggest, I'm looking at all of these units at 10 stars. So let's say you have this dude 10 stars or higher, you have it so that he can actually potentially tank one of these guys ultras if he's at full health, which is not ultras, the ultimate attacks, which is insane. And then of course, other than his revival, his strike damage is nice. The support capabilities from his green and blue and main ability pre-transformation is very good, because his main heals your teammates. The green card you use makes it so that you can come in faster. His blue card reduces your teammates sub count, and the blue card does nice. The green does nice for him as well. Overall, he's very good. And then after his transformation, he does a ton of strike damage. His blast damage is equally as good. His blue card, one of the best blue cards, especially if you use the main ability with a full hand. It's annihilating a lot of units. The green card, the area 1, I don't know why all these top units are having like area green cards, but area green cards are ridiculous in this game. So this dude is fantastic, and I feel like in this meta, being a purple unit with revival on movies is just a given to be in the top 10 at the moment. It's like too obvious that it's just insane. Next, I'm gonna go Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue, probably the strongest blue LF unit to go against. Yeah, the strongest blue LF unit in the game at the moment. He just can annihilate anything. Like Final Form Cooler actually does not handle this dude well, which is really good in my opinion, because Vegito Blue with his blue card locking in your opponents makes it so that you don't have to worry about red units that badly if you have a blue card in your hand, because the blue card does a lot of damage, locks them in, they can't do anything. The strike damage is insane, because he could do like a 50 billion combo with strikes that does 10 like, I was gonna say 10 billion, but that's a bit too much. Let's just say it does a lot of damage basically, and I'm obviously exaggerating a bit. This dude can do a lot of damage just in general. His green card is annoying as well, because getting that off, if you time it against, like, let's say they try to go into Final Form Cooler, get a type neutral cover chains in against a strike attack, but use the green, now he is in trouble, because the blast damage coming in is going to be a lot of damage. Like overall, this guy is fantastic. And then the ultimate move, just, I'm pretty sure I one shot every 6 out of 10 matches. I'll one shot someone with his ultimate. That's how powerful his ultimate is. It'll be against type neutral or type advantage, it'll just one shot KO people, and he's just insane. The blast cover change as well, him being a fusion warrior Zenkai LF is just really good. It gives him a ton of value, and I'd say he's definitely worth being in top 10 in my opinion. Now we're moving on to top 5. In 5th place, I'm actually gonna put Ultra Super Vegito. Now before Broly came out, I probably would have put him closer down to the 8th to 10th range, but now that there's a very powerful purple ultra in the game, he has got a lot of value again, because he kind of counters him pretty well. Like if you get the counter off with your Gorge, you don't have to worry about cover changes, and you could just pummel away. Even if they do go into Broly, he won't have the cover change off. And let's say you did catch him off guard with, they thought they had enough time to cover change the Broly, but you had like a second left on the notification of cover change being in, he's pretty much gone, or they're gonna have to swap out pretty much instantaneously. He is very good. Of course, the strike damage is insane. The card draw speed he gets is probably the best thing about it because he can just combo forever. His blast damage is insane. The green card making it so that it's type neutral, he gets a blast. You can combo into a green and blue if you get the cover change against strikes. The blue card is great because it does a lot of damage, fills your hand as well. Like, this guy can just be a combo monster. And then of course the main ability, giving him his vanish back, giving him one of the most destructive ultimates in the game, is insane. And then he goes type neutral if one of your teammates is just out cold. Like, come on, what else do you need to counter very powerful purple units? Like, purple units are dominant in the meta, so he is the best counter to them at the moment. And honestly, a Fusion Warrior team does well at the moment. So yeah, I'd definitely say he's there. Now we're moving on to the top 4. Okay. I've been thinking about this because I need to get rid of someone. I'm in a position where my top 5 are basically not gonna fill up the top 5, and after careful consideration, considering his typing and everything as well, being a green unit, I'm actually gonna move this guy completely out of here. I'm gonna put him into the honorable mentions. I think it is a smart choice because the powerful purple units that are just dominating the meta make it so that it actually is very tough for green units to be in the top 10. So I think this makes more sense to me. Now I'd definitely do it like this. So now let's move these not all here because these are definitely the top 5. I am gonna put MUI Goku here. Actually, let me just move them out of the way completely. So we've got MUI Goku in 5th position now. MUI Goku is obviously MUI Goku, who he is very annoying. He has his unique gourd, which is probably the most annoying thing to go up against at the moment because it makes it so that you don't want to just attack. You got to be smart with it because that unique gorge counters your strikes and blasts and makes it so that it does do quite a nice amount of damage. Like, he is a very annoying unit, and if you play smartly with it, you use your vanish, you still got your gorge, you can stay in with him, just control the game pretty much, and you can maybe force them to use their vanish so that you have your gorge still and you can avoid an attack and then start pummeling away at them. His strike damage is, to be honest, I don't really need to say much about his strike damage. We all know the strike damage is insane from him. You get a green card, you fill the gorge as well, his strike damage is going to be insane because you draw a strike as well. It is very good from him. Blast damage is good as well. Blue card is great because it reduces your teammate sub counts as well. Like, what else do you really need from the 4 basic attacks? Then you pop the main, you don't have to worry about cover changes no more. If you see, a lot of the units in here have a trend of making it so that you don't have to worry about cover changes at all, and honestly it's fantastic when you don't have to worry about cover changes because this guy is just going to pummel away over and over. Then you use the ult, you get rid of a unit. Most likely, in most cases, if you're up against a blue, you most likely won't, but if you're up against other units, you most likely will, especially if, as I said, you have MUI at 10 stars or higher. So that is definitely my 5th position. Next, I'm going to go for the android. Still crazy. I'd say before Cooler came out, they were probably about 5th or 6th, I'd say. Maybe a bit higher because they might have been in the same position, but I feel like Cooler gave them a bit more value because obviously the red purple or purple red setup with them two together was insane because these are still incredible. The damage output is just insane. So the strike, blast, blue card are all ridiculous. If you get things going as well, fully have them built up, they are just gonna tear through everything. You get the green. I'd say the most annoying thing about them is the green cards. They make it so that you don't have to worry about cover changes. Android 17 will just make it so that he does a long distance green attack and you just attack away, don't have to worry about cover changes. Android 18, hers is the most annoying, I'd say, because it reduces your opponent's vanish completely, and then you can just attack, tag out, attack, tag again. Like, there's been instances where you've comboed with them and you've tagged twice. That's ridiculous. And having endurance notification on top of that, make it so that Android 17 can heal, Android 18 can restore vanish upon attacks. It's just they really went nuts with this unit. So I am definitely glad that I brought them in 4th position. They are definitely a top 5 unit at the moment. Next, now the top 3 are probably 3 of the most well-known top 3 units in the game at the moment. I think if you have a different top 3, it'll be interesting to see why you'd put like the androids in the top 3 at the moment, or Super Vegeta in the top 3, because these 3 I think are staple for the top 3 at the moment. You can argue like the 2nd and 3rd, but I think the 1st place is definitely a certain unit here. So 3rd place, I'm actually gonna go Ultra Gojia. I feel like Ultra Gojia is the most impressive. First summonable Ultra, they nailed it. He was just phenomenal. The damage he does even to this day is ridiculous. He just can dominate the game, can take out your opponents. You have a green card that makes it so that you get more ki. You do not have to worry about your opponent's cover changing no more, and you just go crazy. You have card draw speed and everything. The damage is going to be insane. His Gorge, once it's filled, which it doesn't take too long to fill, I think after like a combo of 4 cards is full, you get ki, and then you could use a blue card because it draws a blue, so that you can wipe your enemy's hand away and do a ton of damage alongside of it. I think his strike damage can actually be as powerful as his blue, which is insane to think about, because if you build him right, his strike damage is just gonna go off. So this dude is fantastic. I think after the boost with Cooler and Ultra Body pop off, he could potentially take the #1 spot. I'm actually serious, because he just dominates. It's insane. Like, he was released at the start of this year, like 9 months later, and he still hasn't really gone away from the top 5 spot. Like, it is insane how good he is. Next, I'm gonna say it's Ultra Body. Ultra Body, obviously, he's the newest Ultra being released. He's got the boost helping him a lot, and this dude, I personally don't really like going up against him. I've got to be honest. He is very, very tanky. If you build him up like defensively, like the damage he does just in general is fantastic. Like, his strike damage is good, his blast damage is good, his blue card, on my days, it could do a lot of damage. His green, a lot of people have said the green should have been comboable, but I just want to say, if they did make it comboable, that would have just added so much power to him that he would have just taken the #1 spot. He would be in #1 if his green card was comboable. Of course, he has the insane cover change as well, which just cover changes anything. Greens, blues, I think Ultimates and Awakenings as well. I'm not too sure about that. I haven't read too much on his kit, as I don't have the unit yet after 30,000 crystals, which is great. But yeah, he is really, really good. I feel like a lot of people hated on him because he's a very star dependent. He needs to be pulled at least twice for him to like fully be noticeable. I feel like if you have him 5 stars, of course I'm gonna leave him in here, but if you have him 5 stars, I could potentially say he's maybe in the, his drops down below the androids, because he's not too impressive at 5 stars. I've come across 5-star units and I've actually not had too much going on against him. He's just being taken out and I'm just like, okay. But then when you see the stars start getting racked up, he is very impressive. And of course, as we're taking everything from me at 10 stars, that is insane. So he is very good. And of course, being a purple unit dominating the meta, he's insane. And he gets to be paired up with the #1 unit, who, it has to be the LF Final Form Cooler. He is just, they were on crack when they made this dude. Like, they just said, okay, what can we do to just make him insanely broken, counters everything, is a god. Yeah, let's make it so that his strikes do a ton of damage. He locks on strikes so that he can just take away someone in 3 strikes, because that's what he does. He goes type neutral. Why does he need to go type neutral? Do you want him to just be that disgusted? Because when he's type neutral, there is no unit in the game that can survive his onslaught. Like, once you have the main ability as well, his main ability makes it so that he doesn't have to worry about cover changes. So if you are type neutral and you've used the main ability, and let's say you've locked in Ultra Gojia, who by the way is a great counter to him, but then he counters him when he's type neutral because he just does a ton of damage to the Super Saiyans. So now your best bet against him, Ultra Super Vegito, is gone, and you're just like, okay, the unit I thought would dominate him has just gone dominated. He can dominate everyone on this list. Literally, it's actually insane. I'd say the best chance is probably Vegito Blue, and even then he does well against him type neutral. It's not a position where you're like, okay, he could potentially be second place after Broly. No, he is number one. His blue card is fantastic because I think it supports your teammates by making it so that they can come in faster. Even his blast damage isn't too bad, which you don't have to worry about too much because when he comes into the battle, he changes his blasts to strikes, so you just get the most favorable damage output either way, so you don't have to worry about his blast damage. As I said, the blue card is fantastic, and then of course the ultimate, like his ultimate, I don't think is the same as some of the other ultimates. I think he's got a few different things that doesn't make it so that he penetrates or like he goes through cover cut and that sort of. I need to check it again, but I know his ultimate is just pretty much raw damage and it just does a ton either way. He is just ridiculous, man. Definitely worthy of being number one, and I'd like to say that maybe after boost he could stay number one, maybe stay in the top 3, but of course after boost it is a different story with units, so we'll have to see. But I am definitely glad with how this is gone. I had to quickly make a few changes as I realized I made the top 11 instead of a top 10, but I'm glad how this ended up. I could change a few, but I'm gonna leave it like this. I think this is fine. And let me know how you feel about my honorable mentions, which I added way more than I wanted to, and my top 10. Do you think Rev Hunt should be higher? Do you think Super Vegito should be lower? Let me know in the comment section below. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Obviously more in the future, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.